Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Hello, everyone. Angela Cheney and
Brandon Suba.
Back with the Engaging Life podcast. Have you missed me?
I have missed you, although we've seen each other.
We have
been networking and all that fun stuff, but we haven't been in the studio
having drinks
together. That is true.
And coffee.
And Isabel
coffee.
and her friend joined us one time
They
because, hey, it's
Isabel
life.
joined us 2 times.
Oh, that's right. She joined us with the coffee,
With
too.
the
didn't
coffee
she?
as well. Yes.
No, she didn't drink when we had drinks. She just had a friend that day and we had to meet. And
It's sad that you have to qualify that.
Yep. Our listeners know us well enough.
That's true.
We do need to
Tis true.
clarify that.
So I've missed you as well. And I've missed digging into all of our engagement equity tips and tricks and all the good stuff.
Yep.
All the good stuff. So launching season 3 here, Dan's tried to rein me in a bit and tell me to talk about marketing, which I've kind of obeyed, kind of not, because you know me, I have to build the whole life into what I talk about. Look at the whole big picture.
Right.
This is something you didn't know. We're going to be talking about the customer value journey, but I am going to be relating it to relationships.
Yeah. Well, customer value journey, so many relates to life,
Absolutely.
to networking.
Everything.
It all translates.
Everything. So, do you know what the customer value journey is, Brandon?
Oh, man. I've heard of it. I
Okay.
have.
Okay.
Couldn't put pen to paper exactly what it is.
Sure.
Read some notes about
Sure.
it. So, no
Okay.
clue.
Well, you know, there's several different ways or several different things that this is called. You know, I've heard it called different things. Customer value journey is what we refer to it as. I'm sure other people refer to it as that too. It's not our custom phrase.
Don't
We
own
did
that.
not coin
Ooh, cool.
customer value journey. I think we need to come up with something, but we wanted it to be something that was people would know about, you know, not be completely our own thing that people are like, what is that? But basically the customer value journey is the way that you take your customers through steps so that at the end, they are basically selling your products and services for you, and you have to pay them for it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's really what it is the end goal of any good marketing plan should be these steps. But what most customer-based businesses do, and a lot of marketing companies unfortunately do, is they stop after the sale is made. They think okay, sale made, mission accomplished,
Booyah.
on to the next one.
Right.
Okay, and really that's only like step 3 or 4.
Wow.
There are several steps after that, because if you do that, you're basically starting over from scratch with every single customer. And then also, you're not servicing your customers. You know, you bring them on board, you sell them, and then kick them out the door. They feel like a number. They don't feel valued. Customer value
I like that.
journey. So when you take them through this whole 7-step process, what you are doing is ensuring they get great service throughout the whole thing. You're making them talk about you well to other people. You're encouraging them to give referrals. Okay. You're ensuring they're using your services to the best of their ability. You know, and that's especially true if you're selling a service rather than a product. This works for both, whether you're selling a product or a service, but especially with a service, you know, it ensures they're getting their full value out of it, because I don't know if you know, there are plenty of businesses that bring a customer on and the customer never really knows everything that business could do for them.
Money on the table, right?
Yeah.
Leaving the money on the table.
Or how to get the best out of that company. You know, we try and give the best service we can, but if we have not explained everything properly and taken our customers or our clients through the journey, they might not be giving us what we need to give them the best service. You know, it's a 2-way street. If people aren't giving us content, if they aren't giving us photos, if they aren't giving us video, if they aren't giving us a mailing list, we can't help them succeed.
Sure.
So that's what the customer value journey is all about. And in this next 7 episodes, it'll actually be 14, because you're doing kind of an offshoot of it, but I will be talking specifically about the 7 steps And then I'm going to relate it a little bit to life
I like that.
because
It's the engaging life.
that's right.
podcast.
And
Oh, we got to promote. You can watch us. I'm pointing to a sign, and if you're just listening, you don't know I'm doing that. But if you're watching us on the UB2B,
the
we
UB2B.
don't have the rights to the real
Mhm.
name, you will see our beautiful sign.
Yes, and we've got new lights. We got a whole setup here. We're pretty excited.
Season 3, we're kicking down the door
Taking it to the next
and we're
level.
showing up.
We're doing
we
it.
finally feel like we're adult podcasters.
We're adult something.
We're adult.
So real quick, I'm going to run through the 7 steps of the CVJ, even though we are just going to do step 1 today. But I would like to give a nice overview so that you know what the steps are. Step 1, generating awareness.
Mhm.
Okay. Step 2, driving engagement. Step 3, building subscribers. It could also be building followers. You can kind of say it either way. Step 4, increasing conversions. So that's when you're making those sales or you're getting ready to make the sales. Step 5, building excitement. All right. Yeah, yes, that'll be a fun one. Step 6, making the core offer sale. Okay, so now
Gotta make the
you're making
sale.
more sales. And step 7, developing brand advocates, because that's what you're really looking for, is that brand advocate's going to sing your praises. All of a sudden, you've got a bunch of people hitting the street selling your stuff, and you don't even have to pay them.
That's where you want to be.
You're pimping it by that time. Totally pimping it. Okay,
Pimp my business.
So-
There you go. That's what you should name this.
pimp
It's not
my
because we're
business.
journey, it's we're gonna pimp your
Mhm.
business.
Yep, that'll appeal to everyone. So generating awareness, that is step 1.
Okay.
And basically what that is doing is making sure your prospects or your ideal customer or client knows who you are
Oh.
and knows what you do, because otherwise you can't sell to them if they are not even aware of you. So for us, generating awareness, we're mostly doing it in Omaha because the majority of our clients are in Omaha, but we're starting to branch out. And this is a very important step for us, even though we're way past step 1 here in Omaha.
Mhm.
You know, people generally know, you know, if you say marketing companies in Omaha, I would think that we would generally come up on that list.
I would agree.
Since we've been in business 8 years now. But the thing about these is you don't do one and then you move to the next one and stop doing the first. You're doing all 7 at some point, either with different customers or with different target markets. So we're never going to stop generating awareness
Mhm.
because new people move into town, or maybe our brand has changed a little bit, and you still have to keep top of mind. So you're really going to be doing all these steps always.
The infinity.
Yes,
Right,
it
you're
is
always-
the infinity loop.
I think too, people change businesses.
Absolutely.
And it's funny how they could have used you at the beginning of their old business, use Pixel Fire, not Angela, and then realize, and completely forget about it,
Yeah.
and then start the new business. And I could see this. Who should I go for
Yeah.
marketing?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, us.
Short memory. People
Here.
have short memories.
Yeah.
But so it is important that you continue to do this. So generating awareness. First of all, you got to back up a little bit, because you don't want to generate awareness for a business that doesn't have a solid brand. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the same thing as, and this is part of it, doing thousands of dollars of Facebook advertising to drive traffic to a shitty website.
Mhm.
You know, you don't want to do it. So you really need to make sure, really step 1 of step 1, step A of
Sub A.
step 1 is making sure your brand is solid. And so what do we mean by that? First of all, your website. Definitely have to make sure your website is user friendly, it's mobile, it looks great, it's not outdated. And you need to make sure that your image, which is your logo, your colors, all of that is consistent, it's professional, it's basically the face that you put out to the world. You got to make sure that all of this is set before you start generating awareness, because again, you don't want to drive people to a bad brand, because then you're not going to be able to move through the steps. You're not going to make a good impression.
Because how many times do you get to make a first impression?
17.
Once.
I know.
Once you get one first impression. Although I think I have done a podcast
know.
on how you actually can get a
You
second
can
first
redo it.
impression, but we won't get into that today.
And then you also need to have your values set, and you need to know, who you are as a company. What are your values? And also, who are you trying to attract? And that gets into niche, and all of that stuff, because a lot of the times, and we were very, very, very guilty of this. Especially if you just started your business. You say, I want to work with everybody and I will do anything to make money. And we did that. And it was a painful process to learn what we shouldn't be doing. And the customers we didn't really want to work with or could not give good service to, because no matter how good your company is, you can't be the best at everything to everybody.
Right.
You simply can't. So what you need to do is figure out, like we have pared it down. We work really well with attorneys and we work really well with landscaping companies, and we don't work so well with this niche or that niche. And also, we do really well with websites. We do really good with social media marketing. We don't do so well with really high-end video, although that might be changing, with the new people we're bringing on board. But knowing who we are, what we do, what we're good at, and who we want to work with, that's all part of your brand. And then cohesiveness and consistency. And this one's really important because if you don't have a cohesive and consistent message, you're going to confuse people. So I always liken this to, let's say I could even say us. We provide such good value. We're not the cheapest marketing company in town, but our value puts us, we're worth the money.
Right.
Okay. So say that's one message we're sending. And then we start sending out flyers with 50% off your website.
Yeah.
Or with $299 websites. And that's, people do that.
Okay.
People do that, or they do the Groupon.
I was actually going to reference Groupon. I've talked to a lot of people and they regret doing Groupon.
Yeah.
Because it didn't bring in consistent business. It brought a wave and they lost revenue.
Right.
And then maybe 2 or 3 stuck. Was it worth it? Most of the time financially, it was not.
And then what is your great client who's paying full price going to think?
Oh.
When you send out a Groupon for half price and somebody else is getting the exact same product or service as them for half the money. It's going to make them mad. So that's what I mean by consistency. And it's okay if your brand is, we do cheap websites.
Yep.
That's fine, but make sure it's cohesive. Make sure it's consistent. Okay. So before you start marketing, you got to generate awareness. So, sorry, you have to make sure your brand is solid before you start marketing to generate awareness.
Got it.
Got ahead of myself. And now I'm going to skip over a little bit and warm it up, because this could be either, I'm going to relate it to 2 different things. Either starting a romantic relationship.
Okay.
Or making a new friend. Okay? Because I think these 7 steps apply to both. All you have to do is change up the language just a little bit. Okay? So say you're going out and you're like, okay, I'm over my last girlfriend. She's terrible. Broke my heart. Took a little while, but now I'm ready to get back out there.
I'm ready.
Ready to get back out there. Okay, so you need to take a new paramour through the 7 steps, okay? Of course, you don't really want a brand advocate at the end of it who's out there selling you, but you want an advocate of you who will,
speak highly
and be sold on, maybe a proposal.
Gotta sell it. Gotta sell it.
Okay, so let's look at what your personal brand looks like, because that's the first thing you have to do. You have to make sure your brand is solid. So know who you are. That's kind of the same thing as who do we want to work with? What are the products we sell? And many, many, many people do this. They go out and they search for someone to share their life with when they don't even really know who they are.
Yep.
And so what they're doing, not only are they being inconsistent to the person, and a lot of the times what they're doing is they find someone and they're trying to be who that person wants them to be. That's what happens most of the time. Right. And then you're 2-3 years into the relationship and decide to show who you really are.
And that's when it doesn't work out. Yes.
Or you don't ever really know who you are, and just continually be who other people want you to be. And that gets into really deep stuff that I probably don't have time to get into, even though I'd rather talk about that.
Warm it up.
But making sure your brand is solid, making sure you know who you are, and then know who you want in your life. So that's, knowing the types of businesses you want to work with. On the personal side, it's knowing who you want in your life. And not saying I want a 6'4", dark-haired man who works in the construction industry. It's not that. It's I need, somebody who wants to start a family. I need somebody who makes a good living. I need somebody who goes to church or does not go to church. I need somebody who is my intellectual equal so we can have deep conversations. Knowing those things, because otherwise you're going to attract the wrong customers.
I like this. It
applies really well.
True. It's so true.
Yeah.
Well, and people that are chameleons, right? I think long term it doesn't work out very well because A, you have no clue who you are, but then B, you don't remember who you are with each person either.
Oh, exactly.
And then you show up as, well, I'm actually cool Jim today, but you should be mean Jim, and you're like, I messed that one up.
Or then you're with your partner and somebody else comes around and you turn into a completely different person.
Yes. Yep.
That's very off-putting to someone.
You know how else that is off-putting, or in another situation? When you have two clients at a networking event and
you're trying to be two different people
as this with that client, and they're like, oh, your values are great. And you know what? I've done this. Like there's some people that I'll swear around of. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And I'll even look back and think, why did you say those things?
Yeah.
Around them? And I think it is because if you're not comfortable with you, which I am very comfortable with,
right?
But if you're not, or if you're always changing for other people, it's hard to stay consistent.
And there is a line there, because I do think it is healthy to edit yourself a little for your crowd. I mean, especially at work, but even like friendship wise, I act a little bit differently around some of my friends than others. Just because we're different types of friends.
Right.
I'm not going to try and have the deep conversation and be super serious with my going out girls as I am with my best friend, because that's what we do.
Right.
And vice versa. And that doesn't mean I'm changing who I am at the core, but there's a line. There's definitely a line where you're trying to be someone you're not.
Mm-hmm.
If it's different aspects of your personality, or like you said, that's being good at reading a room. I know who I can cuss in front of. I know who I can tell dirty jokes in front of.
Right.
I know who I need to be really proper. That's just smart. That's people smart.
Well, and if you have a good brand and you understand it, it fits for everyone.
Yes.
It works across the board.
Yes, absolutely. So another part of your personal brand is your image. So that's like your business website. Your personal image is how you show up. Do you show up at for a blind date in your sweatpants and
some have?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Have.
Oh,
and
people
the answer
do it.
for it, no. I haven't been on a blind date in a long time. But no, I absolutely would not.
No, it's how you present yourself. And I am a huge advocate of showing up, dressing up, looking your best, not only as a respect for yourself, but as respect for other people. If you show up in sweatpants and haven't done your hair and just rolled out of bed, what's that saying? It's saying, I don't care enough to look presentable to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that. And I know that we're in a more casual time. Like, I think we've talked about this. My daughter and I get in arguments all the time. Her school, putting the dress code, the kids can't show up in pajama pants, which is pretty sad when you have to actually put that in your dress
Enforce
code.
it, yep.
And they're not even enforcing it. Every day I'm like, Delaney, those are pajama pants. And she gets, even though Delaney loves to outfits and she doesn't do it, but she gets mad when I dog on the kids who do. And she's like, Mom, they should be able to wear what they want. I'm like, no, school is preparing you for life.
Yep.
And if you can't teach a kid that, hey, you're coming to school, put on some freaking clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of your pajama pants. But anyway. Yeah, there we go. I'm on my little soapbox there. But, it's also how you were raised. I was raised by a mother who put on a full face of makeup every day of her life.
As was I.
Unless she was super sick.
Still to this day, she does.
Mine too. And so I did. I learned that. But I do think it's very important. Again, it's, there's a line. You don't have to show up with I probably overdo it most days.
No.
But yeah, dress nice, present yourself nicely, brush your hair.
I judged a family the other day based upon how they were dressed, and they were walking down the street. They were going to the convenience store, and I really had to step back because I'm sure those kids are really happy. Gosh, I hope they are. And I'm sure they're happy. Gosh, I hope they are. But based 100% on how they looked, I was 100% dogging on them.
It's easy to do.
It is.
It's easy to do. Yeah. And I mean, we all judge. We say we don't, we shouldn't. We all do. And, it's whether it comes out, you just told me.
See, yeah, I'm glad.
So.
Stays up here for me.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah, it's tough. So now let's switch back to the marketing world. Okay. We talked about your image and making sure your brand is solid. Okay. So now what do we do to generate awareness for your business? The next step, advertising. And by advertising, what I mean is kind of your traditional stuff that you think of: radio, TV, print, those types of things. We encourage people, because I would say what we do is not advertising, what we do is marketing. Okay.
Oh, right.
And while we do not sell TV, radio, print, we do encourage our clients to do a media mix.
Good.
Because there are still demographics that don't receive the digital message, especially if you're marketing to an older crowd. There's still a lot of people who listen to the radio. There's still a lot of people who watch TV. Yeah. Or whether it's streaming, you can advertise on streaming services as well. It doesn't have to be network TV.
Right.
But advertising is important. And then social media marketing. So social media marketing is what we do. And that is content, and content is basically what you're not paying for. It's free. It's what everybody can do on social media, but you have to do it right. What do you have to use?
Pixel Fire Marketing.
No.
Oh, okay.
Engagement equity.
Oh my gosh.
Missed that one.
I still think my answer was right. One. My answer was still right.
Yeah, that's true. We will use engagement equity when we do your social media marketing. But what we mean by that is give value through your content. Don't sell, because that's not what people want on social media. They want to be social. They want to have conversations. They want to learn. They want to laugh. They do not want to be sold to in social media content. Okay. But what you can sell to them is in social media ads. Okay. So it's pretty easy. It's very doable for a business to do their own social media content. Okay. If you do it right, and all it takes, you can read one book and figure out how to do it right, but being consistent and having the time for it, those are two different things. Social media advertising, not so much, because it's a lot more, if you've never tried it, it's a lot harder than you might think, because you have to create graphic ads. It's designing. It is designing. And then also getting it through the channels, knowing who to market to, picking a target audience, knowing how much to spend. It is pretty in-depth.
Isn't it common that people choose the wrong words for their
words
pay-per-click, because they think, I know my industry and I know that people are going to look for couches because I sell couches, but really the word might be sitting,
furniture,
lounging.
Yeah, right.
And I think there's art to that too.
Right.
And
but those are Google ads. I'm talking about social media. Facebook ads.
So not paid. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I veered off.
That's
there.
okay,
Hashtags
but that's
then? Can we say hashtags on that? Does that work?
Don't really use those in social media either way. But
don't call me.
But you do have to have this much portion text, that much portion image, or they'll reject them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty. And then there's also some things you cannot market on social media. Firearms.
Spine stuff,
dirty stuff.
That's
have to use some. Yeah, there's some interesting ads out there that you can see. They're marketing something kind of dirty. Not dirty, but intimate maybe. And have to use different words to get it through. But and then there's the Google ads, the pay-per-click ads, and you're absolutely right. Just because you would search for that, or the people, this always makes me laugh, that want to show up first for their name. They want to show up first on Google for their, if somebody already knows your name,
buy a name. They're
not going to need social, they already know who you are. It's the industry, and it's what people are searching for. So, I would, if I needed a new roof, I wouldn't search Hometown Roofing, right? I would search new roof Omaha.
Yep.
Or
near me. New roof near me.
Yeah. Or roof repair Omaha, or need a new roof, or
broken shingle.
Exactly. Do I need a new roof? Something like that. So really getting into the mind of your customer, it's not easy for a business owner to do. They have tunnel vision and they're not marketers.
Right.
This guy's putting on roofs. He's not a marketer.
Right.
I wouldn't try and put on my own roof. That might be funny. Might be a good
I can see you would tell.
One of us would fall off the roof. I'm not sure which one would
I
go
love
first.
that you say fall. I think it would be pushed.
I can't tell you which one of those would come first, but yeah. So having an expert, it's there's just no substitute
I would
to having an expert. So search marketing, that's what search marketing is. You also have like audience targeting. There's many different ways to market, and that's why you should probably use a professional to start generating awareness and making sure that everybody in your target, whether that's in a certain city, whether that's throughout the country, whether that's throughout the world, and knowing who needs your products and services, how to get to them, and how to make sure they're aware of you is all generating awareness. Okay, so now let's switch it on back to our example of going out to find your new partner,
Okay.
your new romantic partner. So how do you generate awareness? How are you going to meet Miss Right if she does not know you exist?
Oh. Well, dating apps, is that a thing now?
Dating apps could be.
Okay, going out.
Once you know the type of people you want to meet,
Okay.
then you can go to the places where they are.
Oh, yeah.
So a good example here, say you did this completely wrong. Not only are you showing up in your pajamas and you're being whoever somebody else wants you to be, but say you have no idea, your exact right partner. You're just kind of anybody would do. And you don't drink. Okay. And you decide to go to a bar with your friends to meet people.
That's not going to work.
Pretty bad. That would be a pretty bad choice.
I would agree.
A pretty bad choice. Or in my example, go to church.
Yeah.
That would be in a pretty bad place for me to meet people because I am not going to meet somebody I'm compatible with.
Okay.
I would, for the most part.
You could meet somebody you're compatible with, but you're probably not going to
there's-
make it to all the holy days and the commitments and.
Well,
and all that fun stuff.
I gotta say, it would be incompatible for me because of different values.
Yes.
Different values. I'm not saying either is right or wrong, but we would have fundamentally different values that would be tough. I know some people can do it.
Well,
You got your Democrats and your
I was
Republicans
going
that
to say
marry.
the political piece too. Like Liz and I, we don't talk about politics anymore, and it was 100% because she just got mad at me.
Yeah.
Like I
don't really
supported
care.
dual views. I didn't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
But she did, and she was passionate about it, and so we were already married. So
Right.
already
And
made the
I think that
commitment.
one's easier to do than religion, especially if somebody's really religious.
Yeah.
Because that's how you raise your kids.
Yes, you're right.
It
right.
really goes into fundamentally what you believe about the world.
Yeah.
That is a fundamental deep down belief. And if you're incompatible with the other person, it's not you're Methodist and I'm Catholic. That's
Right.
fundamentally you have the same belief. It's just different ways of practicing it. I'm saying if somebody is religious, not even religious is probably the right word. If somebody, not spiritual, because I consider myself
Yeah,
spiritual,
you're spiritual.
but I'm not in any way religious. So it's a fundamental different belief about life. Yeah.
Well, where are you going to spend your time? Again, and because I see this, I think it's funny when there's a family with 3 kids and the mom's there, but the dad's not there and never comes. And it's like, there has to be a little animosity at home about this,
Unless
right?
they made the decision early on. It's like, okay, we believe the same things, but dad wants to watch football on Sundays and mom has agreed.
But then
I'll handle it.
that goes back to we've identified who we are, we've
Right.
identified our market, and that makes sense then.
I guess it's also possible that somebody makes a U-turn halfway through a marriage.
Either way,
finds God.
Either way, to be clear,
Oh,
or
yeah.
loses God, because
Right.
I've seen that too.
Right. And that's tough.
It
that
is.
breaks up marriages. So
It does.
know the people you want to meet and then know kind of what you want your life to look like. So what if you are super duper active and you're like, I really want someone who can go rock climbing with me and go to the gym,
Right.
go to a rock climbing wall place. Those still exist, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
They're
don't.
not-
You wouldn't find me at one, so.
I know they were all the rage for a while,
They
but
were.
I think there's still some in town. Networking events. Maybe you're a big business person. You're like, I really want somebody who's on that same level as me,
Mhm.
and likes to do these kind of things. So maybe you'd meet someone at a networking event.
I've learned this. A lot of doctors are married to doctors. Again, that's a crazy
Especially-
lifestyle.
Chiropractors. It's funny. My chiropractor and I were just talking about this.
Really?
She's like, chiropractors really tend to marry each other. She's like, I think it's just because they're in school together and they're around each
I
other
get
so
that.
much.
And there's a piece of that. I think it's because of lifestyle. Because
Oh, absolutely.
a chiropractor is going to have a specific lifestyle, and you want someone that understands that and
Yeah.
is choosing to live that lifestyle too. That might go back to beliefs also, though.
Yeah.
Healthcare beliefs for the chiropractor
Oh
one.
yeah, different.
Instead of
Yeah.
having the
But I
fight.
think doctors too, I mean, they're in medical school for a long time.
Yep.
Who are they around?
Other doctors.
And they have no time to meet anybody outside of the industry.
No, and they're at the hospital all
They're
the
the
time,
only
too.
people they meet.
Oh yeah, it does not shock me at all.
Yeah, or
At
nurses,
all.
doctors married to nurses.
Yep, that's common too.
Yeah, because
common
those
too.
are the only people they have time to see.
It is. Well,
It is.
I mean, it's true. It's,
It is.
It is.
It's a
their,
very
It's their social world.
yes.
Although I don't believe in marrying anyone you work with, though.
I think it's probably a bad idea. Yes.
I think. Well,
Some
good.
people can do it.
We know.
Some
we
people
can't.
can do it. Yes. Through no fault of anyone's. I think we're just too independent.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's not what I was thinking, but I like the way you say it.
Codependent? I don't know. Yeah. We're too
I'm
independent.
annoying. That's what I was thinking. Like Liz has to deal with me how many hours a day, and then if she had to be in the office with me,
Be too much overload.
and it would be
Mhm.
you put on your training voice again.
Oh
All day
yeah.
long.
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah.
day
Todd also has his big boy. You know, I don't want to say an act, but
It's why we go and learn things on our own, and then come back and be
Yes.
like, hey, I know how to do this now. Let's
Yes.
do it together.
Yeah. So finding where you want to meet people, book clubs, bookstores, you know, if you're, although reading is probably one of the most important things in my life, and I married a non-reader, but that's not a fun to, you know, it's not like he hates reading, doesn't believe in it.
No, I
But-
think that's a good thing, because I too am not a reader, and I married a reader.
Mm-hmm.
So but she tried. Have I ever shared the Christmas story? So she gave me Liz gave me a book 2 years in a row, back to back. And the first year I didn't read it. And I told her I was going to read it. And she's like, well, maybe. And then I'm big into Star Wars. So she got me a Star Wars book.
Oh, nice.
No. I mean,
No.
yes. But so, and I
Didn't
feel horrible.
work?
I'm sharing this because I feel guilty. But I opened it up. I didn't realize it wasn't wrapped like a book. It was wrapped in a box. So I opened it up. I opened it. Whole family sitting around. It's Christmas morning. I look at her and I go, will you stop? And then I just had that moment of like, you're a jerk.
Oh, no.
Why would you do that? And I'm like, and your kids saw it and everything. And I apologized, but it was just one of those, I'm not a reader,
Right.
and giving me a gift isn't going to make me a
Right.
reader.
Now Todd can read, but and he will, and he's read books, and I do give him books, and he wants books.
Oh, yeah. No.
But I read
way more.
4 books a week, and he
Yeah.
reads 2 a year. You know, so.
Beats me by 2.
But I've always said, I'm like, if we were both readers like me, we would never do anything else. We would never speak to each other.
Yep.
We would both be on our sides of the room reading books.
Yeah.
It's good balance.
It is.
It's good. And
He's
it's
got
also
video games.
something,
He's
he
got
has
his
video games.
Yep.
And it's something that I can do for me. You know, he doesn't really want to hear about what I'm reading. He's not involved, you know.
Yeah.
I have a book club. It's
Oh,
something that's
yeah.
just kind of mine.
Yep. That's good.
So anyway, and then introducing yourself. So this would be the equivalent of the marketing, you know, that you're generating awareness and then you're introducing yourself. So how do you do that? Do you walk up and slap her on the ass? I mean, I suppose you could. That's like a really annoying pop-up ad on a website. That's
It
the
is?
that's the equivalent.
That's
That's the
yeah.
equivalent. Yeah, you probably it's definitely going to get some attention.
But not good.
Probably
attention.
not the attention that you want.
Right.
So that first introduction, you know, is huge. That's the first impression. That's what the customer sees when they first go to your website. And so the introduction is super important. And that can be anybody you're starting a relationship with. I mean, I remember the very first impression I had of Todd and his introduction. No, I ended up married to him anyway, but
But it wasn't because of that, to be clear.
it was actually really funny because we met in BNI.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And he had come as a guest for the financial planner seat.
Mhm.
And like there were 6 of them there that day that wanted the
Yeah, it's
seat.
common.
And he got up and ho 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 and did his whole act and made some really bad joke. And I'm like, who is this jackass? That was my first impression. Who is this jackass?
Jackasses now who you see every day.
I know. So it's important, but obviously you can get over it.
Well, Okay, but not everyone's gonna get over it.
And the other thing is, I didn't have a choice. I had to see him every week for years because he was in the same group as me. So I couldn't get away from him. Whereas if you go up and slap some girl on the ass in the bar and she
Yep.
doesn't like it, some
Nope.
might, they're just going to get away from you and you never have another chance.
And same with clients. Same with
Yeah.
clients. Again, it worked. You had to keep going back by default,
Uh-huh.
but your average consumer is not going to keep going to your website
Exactly.
if you slapped them in the ass
Exactly. So don't do it. Don't slap asses. Don't have annoying pop-ups.
digitally.
Yes. Introduce yourself nicely. So that pretty much wraps it up. Step 1, generating awareness, whether you are marketing a new business or whether you are looking for the love of your life.
Mm.
Yeah, you gotta make sure your brand's solid. You've got to put in a good marketing plan. You have to know who you want to work with, and you have to know what your niche is.
Hmm.
Do you have anything to add to this, Brandon?
Oh no, I think we rolled this one out.
Pretty much, yeah. Covered.
I'm nervous about mine now because it ain't gonna be this in depth. Let me tell you.
That is okay. You know, we kind of blew all of our energy on this one. yours can be a softball. But so next week we'll be talking about Brandon's topic. Okay. And then the week after that, we're going to go into step 2, driving engagement.
Mhm.
So that'll be fun. So make sure you tune in. We'd love to hear any comments you have. We would love to see some reviews. We would love to see some follows.
Yeah.
All of the good
shares,
stuff.
and more
Shares.
people can follow.
Subscribe.
Because we're back. We were gone for a
Guess
while,
who's
but we're back now.
Back again.
Full fledged.
That's right. My daughter would be so proud that
Was
I
that
just
Eminem?
that my daughter would be so because I hate him. I hate Eminem.
But you know the songs.
I do.
Yep.
And Delaney is always on me about, but he's good. Why don't you like him? And she made me listen to several Eminem songs on the way to school this morning.
Wow. So it's fresh.
It's fresh.
Fresh.
We didn't even listen to that one and it's still fresh. Anyway. So thank you everyone, and we will see you next week.